guys, I'm back and we are in my bedroom and we are going to decorate our flocked tree, and I'm going to walk you through each step and kind of give you an idea of what I'm using, where I purchased it, etc. So let's take a look at the tree, which I will link for you guys as well. Okay, so here is the tree. It is a 7.5-foot flocked tree. I originally purchased it from Birch Lane. However, it is still on Wayfair.com. I've linked that tree for you here. I am basically going to start out by just telling you guys, when you take your tree out of the box, don't just put it up. You have to, as we say, fluff the branches. If you look back in here, these pieces here, I like to stand up in the back. And it's basically just going to kind of hide that ugly pole. For the front branches on these, since it is flocked, I kind of pointed them all downward. And I don't know if you can kind of see that because it's just more of a natural look. If you've got snow that has freshly fallen on a tree, typically the branches are going to be weighed a little bit more and want to kind of droop. So fluff your tree. The next thing I do when it comes to a flocked tree, obviously I don't do this on my other green trees, but on the flocked trees I do, is I use stuffing. And this is basically just polyester stuffing. I think I purchased it for like less than $5. And what I'm going to do is inside where you've got spots, you just kind of stuff that a little bit. It's hard to do this holding the phone, and basically I'm going to do that all over the tree, starting from the inside and kind of coming outward. If you saw Charlie's tree in his room the last 2 years, kind of know what that's going to look like because I'm doing it the same method. Okay, so I just want to show you guys kind of this little section that I've gotten done, and you can kind of see how it looks on the inside. It just looks like snow sitting on top of the branches. Super easy to do, super cheap. It helps fill in those holes in the tree, but it also helps kind of hide the part of the flock tree that's inside that's more green that didn't maybe get as much flocking. So that kind of gives you an idea of what that looks like. So I'm going to go ahead and do the rest of the tree, and then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so we've got all of our cotton stuffing in the tree. And this is one of those things where you can do as much or as little as you want. I don't like to go too crazy with it. I like to keep it to where it looks realistic. Also, if you get too much in there, it can kind of dim the lighting on your tree a little bit. So that's up to you. Just remember, whatever you put on, you want to take off before you take your tree down. So just keep that in mind. Next, we are moving on to our large floral stems and picks to add a little bit of texture to the tree. Okay, so for our first picks that I'm going to use are these beautiful frosted pine cones. They come on a stick, as you can see here, with 3 each. You want to work in odd numbers when it comes to these things. I bought 7 of them. I purchased these from the Cotton Mill Exchange here in downtown Canton. So if you guys are familiar with it, it's a beautiful store. And they had some great Christmas tree decor items. So we're going to place these all over our tree. But we're going to do it in kind of a sporadic sporadic all over the tree. So let me go ahead and put a couple of them on so that you can kind of see what I'm talking about. Okay, so here's a couple that I've added, and you can kind of see them here. What you're going to do is look for areas that you've got bigger openings, so holes you want to fill essentially. And what I do with this, because it has such a long stem, let's see, I kind of bend it like this. And you're going to kind of go in and tuck down so that you don't have anything sticking out of the back of the tree. You kind of want this to hide while this hangs. Okay? Okay, so now we've got all of our pine cones, and see how I've kind of staggered them. You don't want them in a straight line. You want to kind of keep them spaced fairly well and just stagger them around the tree. I do not do the back sides of my tree. I will add some of the ornaments that aren't necessarily my favorite to keep the weight somewhat balanced so that the front is not so heavy that it could possibly tip. But I do not buy the real expensive ornaments or any of the really nice floral picks to do the back. You just don't see it. If you're extremely OCD, you'll do the back side just like I did the front here. The next thing that I'm adding to the tree are actually going to be these berries. I could not find berries in this color that weren't like spring or summer, and so I actually bought these on clearance. I only paid a couple dollars for a full thing. I don't know that we'll need all of them, but what I'm going to do is actually cut them off and just do like a grouping of 2 to put in the tree. I don't know if I'm going to leave this greenery. I doubt it, but I'm going to try a couple and we'll see. We may take those off. Okay, so I decided to take the leaves off, and I used some floral wire cutters to cut off 3 separate pieces, and then I kind of joined them together, and I like the look of that. So I'm going to do that just as I did the pine cones, staggering them around the tree. Okay, so we've got all of our berries on the tree now, and I did end up cutting them and removing the leaves, and I cut them in groups of 3. Odd numbers are great to work with. Aesthetically, it just looks much more pleasing. So I've staggered them around the tree just as I did with the pine cones, leaving the back untouched. Next, I've got some little jeweled, very like delicate stems, but I'm going to hold off on those and move on to our ornaments. I'm not going to use all of these ornaments on this tree. These are just a mere collection of what I've had in the 15 Christmases that Josh and I have been married. So it's a collection of ornaments. So I'm going to start with the larger ornaments, and most of these I bought actually at Home Goods, and they range anywhere from like $4 to $6 typically. These are great for filling in large holes. So here would be a great one. They are heavy, so I am going to use some wire to attach them. Here again, there's a hole. And I'm just going to kind of tuck these around. So again, staggering them around the tree, finding in bare spots to put them. Okay, so I've got those larger ornaments on. I also added the larger snowflakes that I have. Again, making them sporadic around the tree. I'm going to start adding my smaller ornaments to it. And then we're going to do the ribbon, which I always do last, and I will show you guys how to do that. So let me get these smaller ones on, and then I'll show you what to do with the ribbon. One thing that I do with my glass ornaments is I actually take either floral wire or I'll use like these little green hooks, and I will actually wrap them around the branch, and so that just ensures that they're not going to fall off. Again, with these big heavy ones, and then some of my mercury glass ones that I've been collecting for a long time, I don't want a little child running by or a dog and knock them off and break them. So that just ensures that they don't go anywhere. Just a little quick tip for you. Okay, so all of our smaller ornaments are on the tree. And I may still add a couple here or there after I get the ribbon on. But the ribbon I'm going to use is this wired satin kind of sagey green. And this was from, I believe, Joann's Fabrics. I bought it on clearance. And then this check blue and white check ribbon. Both are wired. Both are about 2.5 inches wide. I will link this ribbon here. This blue and white check ribbon was bought off of Etsy. So I'll link that for you guys. I usually cut my ribbon in strips of about 3 to 4 feet, and then I will show you how to tuck those. So with the ribbon, I am just tucking it, starting about maybe not quite in the middle of the tree. I kind of like to start in the middle and then work my way up or down. But I'm going kind of at a diagonal. I don't like going up and down. I've done that before. I just think it looks, it doesn't look organic enough. So I like to kind of go in diagonals, and they don't have to be going all the same way. You want it to be a little imperfect. And you're just going to stop every maybe foot or so and just tuck, go another space, tuck, and then keep going until you're done. I like to use 2 different kinds of ribbon, typically one with a pattern such as plaid, check, floral, and then a solid. I find that it helps balance it, but it also gives the tree a nice color and pattern. Okay, so our ribbon is on. I'm still trying to decide what I'm going to do at the top of the tree. Sometimes I do just a simple bow with the ribbon that I used. I also have a gold bird topper I could use, so I'll figure that out, and I'll post the finished tree this coming week on the blog so you guys can see it. The lighting will be a little bit better as well. But you can tell with the ribbon, it's going in different directions. It kind of goes in and out. I kind of mixed it up. There's not really any right or wrong way. You want it to look just kind of not haphazard, but very organic looking, not too perfect. But yeah, and so you can cut those pieces anywhere from a foot to 4 feet long, whatever you want to work with. Okay, so last thing for the tree, besides the topper, which I will do later, are these really cute jeweled little stems. They're super delicate, which I decided to do these last because I thought it'd be fun just to kind of put in, I don't know if you can see that, just in random places. So I'm working on these. I got these at Hobby Lobby. I believe they were right under $2 each, maybe like $1 or something. So I'm going to place those around the tree. And then last as well are these little jeweled pieces here. And those I am just simply adding to the ends of branches. Those also came from Hobby Lobby. They were $4 for 4 and then 50% off. So just under $2 for 4 of them. And I bought 3 packs. And for those, I'm using a simple green hook, and I'm cutting. So you'll take this green hook and cut it in half with some floral wire cutters. And I basically wrapped it around the tree limb, which might be a bit annoying when we go to take it off, but it looks like it's just hanging off the limb, which I love because it gives it that nice like icy look that I think is so pretty on a flock tree. So that is the tree. That is the last bit to go on besides the topper, and I will share the finished tree with all of the product that I used on it with links on the blog next week. Again, you can go back through my stories. I've linked everything there, most everything as well. Yeah, so there you go. Happy decorating.